What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with the NFL Power Rankings for Week 11. But before I get into it, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Get us to 200 subscribers where I'll be doing an autograph item giveaway. Could be some autographed cards, could be some memorabilia. All you have to do is hit our subscribe button to be entered. And we'll jump into the video here with the Texans coming in last yet again. And this is more of them just not getting it done on the road in New York. They get the Commanders this week. Possibly, a better matchup if you want to say, but it's going to come down to Dameon Pierce. He is pretty much their only weapon right now on this team. And the defense has been playing good at some times this year, and if they'll have to limit the Commanders to kind of around 24 or less if they want to walk away with the W. 31, yes, 31. We have the Las Vegas Raiders, and this is mostly on Josh McDaniels, I think. He has a great team around him, great chemistry, it seems like. But, he lost to a first-time head coach in the NFL or collegiate level, called up pretty much from the streets to go coach this team, and lost at home. How do you do that? I just blows my mind that happens. But Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, and Derek Carr have been playing really good, but not having Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow on IR as well. Really, those missing pieces, I think, have taken a toll on this team. And now they're going to go to Denver, which, that game is going to be a must win for both these teams. 30, we got the Panthers moving up a spot with their win on Thursday Night Football over the Falcons. We get the Ravens in Baltimore this week, which is going to be a tough test. But their storyline is they are still only 2 games back in the NFC South. And, just because of Tampa at 5-5 right now, not really walking away with that division. Panthers could get hot here, win 2 more in a row, and possibly be leading the division in 2 weeks from now. Highly unlikely, but you never know with this Panthers team. And their big storyline is the quarterback. Is it going to be PJ Walker? Probably not, because he's hurt. Is it going to be Baker? Is it going to be Sam Darnold at the end of the year? Whoever is going to be the quarterback for this team at the end of the year, good luck. 29, yes, I dropped him this far in the rankings. It's the Los Angeles Rams, the defending Super Bowl champions, our preseason number 4 team. And this team is just falling off. Things got bad quick. Obviously, Cooper Kupp goes down with a high ankle sprain, and now he's on IR. So it's going to be Van Jefferson, Skoranek, and Allen Robinson are going to have to be the guys getting the bulk of the workload now with Kupp's absence. The run game was non-existent, and it has been this whole year. That's where they have really fallen into a trap. Once they get behind, they do have to throw, and everybody knows they're going to throw. We had John Wolford play this game against Colt McCoy. And, Stafford's in concussion protocol. Is he going to be back this week for a matchup at the Saints? If not, then you could be looking at another loss and this team possibly almost out of playoff contention. 28, we got the Jaguars moving back 4 spots, and it's mostly just because of the teams that are moving past them here. They did play pretty decent, I think, against the Chiefs in Arrowhead. They kicked the onside kick and recovered that for the first play of the game. Christian Kirk went off. Trevor Lawrence had a solid day. But, just talent beat them in the second half as the Chiefs pulled away. 27, we got the Bears moving up 1, even after a hard-fought loss against Detroit at home. A win for the Bears would have been huge, not just for the NFC North purpose, but for the wild card purposes as well. And this was more on their defense, more than Justin Fields taking over. They gave up 21 in the fourth quarter. The pick 6 by Field didn't help. But they blew that 14-point lead and eventually lost by 1 point. And, those are the games you're going to look back at the end of the year. If this team ends up, let's say, 6-11, 7-10, somewhere around there, that, this one could have went our way, could have been better, and possibly even snuck in the playoffs. So if the Bears want to, have that chance, they really got to clean it up here. In 26, we have those Detroit Lions who beat the Bears on a 2-game winning streak now, beating 2 NFC North opponents, Packers and Bears. And they're going to the Giants this week, which a lot of people are already writing them off, which don't write off the Lions just yet. They're starting to figure things out right now. Putting up that 21 points late is not like the Lions football over these last years. So if they can do that, really contend in games, the defense is stepping up. Hutchinson's looking great. Kuda has looked great as well at times. But it's going to come down to Goff's consistent play. And if he can play just as good as Daniel Jones does, then the Lions might sneak out of there with a W. 25, we got the Browns. Not much to be said about this team other than Deshaun Watson pretty much practicing today. He's expected back soon, but this game in Buffalo is expected to have, I think, 6 feet of snow. So that'll be very interesting to see and could benefit the Browns, with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. 24, we got the Saints, and this team, I just don't see how they're this bad. Dalton isn't a bad quarterback. He just struggled in this one against the Steelers, and when they got TJ Watt back, the defense just clicked and put it on the Saints. So now they're going to turn to Jameis Winston possibly this week against the Rams in a must-win game for both of these teams. 23, we got the Broncos falling back one spot after a close loss to the Titans, which, it seems every week is a close loss. And it might be time to write this team off. The offense can't score. The defense has been excellent. And on a negative note, Jerry Jeudy went down early. Hopefully, it's possibly just out 1 week. It's nothing too serious. They haven't put him on IR anything yet as of Wednesday. So I don't think it's too severe, but it was a scary moment when he went down. 22, we got the Steelers jumping up a lot here, and that is because of TJ Watt. His impact on the game immediately was felt. Just, the pass rush, hurrying throws, forcing Dalton into 2 picks. And this is a must-win game this week against the Bengals, in my opinion, for them to really stay in contention in the AFC. They beat them week 1 in OT on the Boswell game-winning field goal. And do they have some magic left in them to sweep the Bengals this year? 21, we have the Falcons falling back. And this is because they just can't stop D'Onta Foreman. He run wild against the Falcons team in both games, put up over 100 yards in both and 2 touchdowns. He went off, and this run defense is non-existent, and that's not a good sign. This week with Justin Fields running for over 140 yards in his last 2 games and passing for over 150 as well. So he's really going to keep that Falcons defense on their toes in a bad matchup. But if Mariota can play almost similar to how he did against the Panthers, maybe a little bit better, the Falcons might walk out of here with a W. 20, we have the Indianapolis Colts, who got a second life when Jeff Saturday took over. This team looked electric, like they knew what they were doing from the snap. Jonathan Taylor looked like his last year self, Matt Ryan included. And this team looks pretty good. And let's see if they can go beat Philly at home to give them their first losing streak of the year. 19, we got the Cardinals. This was more on the weapons around Colt McCoy than Colt McCoy's performance. Even though he did really well, James Conner obviously had a great day with almost 70 yards, 2 touchdowns, and they released Eno Benjamin, meaning that it's James Conner or bust essentially at this point in the season. So he is expected to take a bulk of the carries moving forward. And DeAndre Hopkins obviously had a spectacular day. And some news today is they have activated Marquise Brown's practice window. So he has 21 days to become active, and it's pointing up for the Cardinals. If they can beat the Niners in Mexico, be it 5-6, this Cardinals team could be slowly making a run. 18, we got my Packers, and what better game to go to than winning in overtime against the Cowboys. They snapped the 5-game losing streak. Christian Watson had his breakout game of the year. Aaron Jones looked spectacular as well. And Rodgers, didn't really have to throw it as many times as people thought they would have to, but he was very efficient in this one. And if they can get that, similar performance against the Titans, I don't think they just win. I think they win big as well. It's going to come down to Tannehill throwing in the cold, and I don't like that. So give me the Packers here. And they might move to 5-6 here with that win and possibly be getting back up into that playoff race. 17, we got the Commanders, and they are the ones to take down the undefeated Eagles on Monday Night Football. I think you can say this is the surprise team with Taylor Heinicke at the helm. He's doing just enough to get this team in position to win games, and he's doing great, and when it helps when you got a good run game, running it 49 times, a total of 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, with Gibson and Robinson doing awesome as a good duo. This Commanders team really could make some noise here down the stretch. 16, the Chargers, tough loss on Sunday Night Football. And Herbert just hasn't been himself, and that's in part to having no Mike Williams or Keenan Allen, and sometimes Gerald Everett at times he left early. But the Chargers have a tough task this week against the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. If they can win that one, then, the Chargers might be moving up a few spots here next week. 15, the Patriots coming off a bye. Defense has been probably the best in the NFL this year. And Mac Jones, he is now officially the starter, after the controversy with Zappe. Jones, is going to have to elevate his play against the Jets here if they want to get the win. Because I think the Jets have better weapons around Zach Wilson than the Patriots have around Jones. The defenses have been really good in this one, and it should be a low-scoring game. 14, the Bucs getting a huge win in Germany. against the Seahawks, who were on fire at the time. Their storyline, though, isn't Brady, having a good day and slipping and falling and getting thrown at. It's Rachaad White, 22 attempts, 105 yards. Has he taken over the backfield? I don't think you can say so yet because Fournette's usage is still there. I know he did get hurt a little bit in this one towards the end of the game, but he's going to have a long time recovery because they are on a bye this week. So expect him to retain his role coming out of the bye. 13, we got the 49ers who beat those Chargers, and now they get the Cardinals in Mexico, in what should be a great game. Elijah Mitchell makes his return and had a good day. Same with McCaffrey, and this duo looks hard to stop, interchanging these backs healthy. If they can both stay healthy the whole year, then this Niners team is going to be tough to slow down. And Jimmy G is obviously great with a good run game as he played his part. So expect this Niners team to keep on winning these games if the run game is there. 12, we got the Bengals coming out of a bye. Ja'Marr is not looking like he will be back this week, unfortunately. But week 12, there's a good chance he is going to play. And it's going to be a tough matchup for him in Pittsburgh, needing a win, and the Bengals looking for revenge this week. 11, we got the Jets staying put out of their bye week as well. I think this team is the biggest surprise, you can say. I know the Vikings and Eagles and all those teams above them have been really good, but the Jets at 6-3 here in that division in the AFC East, better than the Bills right now. I think that's got to, mean something. This defense has been great. Sauce Gardner has been exceptional. They knew what they were doing with that pick. And if this team really wants to win this game and possibly even the division, because they are in the hunt, Zach Wilson will have to step up and make some big throws. Starting our top 10, we got the New York Giants staying put. They beat the Texans, just another game. We get the Lions this week, and they're at 7-2. And they could get to 8-2 here and, possibly not run the table in the NFC East. But, it's been very competitive division so far. And it's going to come on the back of Saquon. Those 35 attempts isn't going to be too much down the stretch, possibly. But, if they can rely on him to run the ball at least 25 times a game, they have a good shot to win the games. 9, we got the Seahawks falling just a little after their loss in Germany to the Bucks. First half woes pretty much were too much. I think it was 3 points or 0 they scored in the first half, and they just got down too much to mount that comeback. But the running game was non-existent, totaling 39 yards. Kenneth Walker pretty much had a good fantasy day only because he caught the ball, I think, 6 times. Geno Smith had another solid outing, and I think the Seahawks are going to go into a bye very happy here, sitting at 6-4. 8, we have the Tennessee Titans getting a win against Denver at home, and this was the defense making a big statement here. They're 6-1 in their last 7. Derrick Henry, obviously, can they rely on him every single game? They did, kind of this game. He got slowed a little bit, but Tannehill really shined. 2 touchdowns, 255 yards. That's a good day for him when Henry, can't really get it going. But can they make a repeat performance, or can Henry go on Thursday Night Football against the Packers? 7, we have the Cowboys, who lost to my Packers. It was a great game. Dak, struggled through a red zone interception. An interception that was very questionable at midfield. It was a very easy read for the defense. But if this team really wants to make a championship run, it's going to come on his shoulders. We know the defense can play really well and compete with every team. CD had a great showing. And Dak, still played really well, but he's going to have to limit his mistakes for the Cowboys moving forward as they go to Minnesota this week in a tough matchup. 6, we got the Ravens coming out of a bye. Should win this week against the lowly Panthers. They stay atop the AFC North after their bye, and Lamar is playing at an MVP level, a front runner to say the least. This team needs to do whatever they can to lock Lamar up. I understand that, he's a running quarterback and he might get injury prone down the stretch, but, would you rather take the risk of him going to, let's say he goes to the Browns or, someone they're going to play almost every year, and, he burns you for the next 5-6 years because they signed him for that long and nothing happened. I don't think you want to take that chance because Lamar puts his team in a position to win every single game, and that's all you can ask from a quarterback. Starting our top 5, we have the Dolphins jumping back in. Last week, they dismantled the Browns. They're 7-0 in 2 starts. They head into the bye this week. I'm very happy with where they're sitting. And I think the big thing for this Dolphins team is they traded for Jeff Wilson Jr., who worked under Mike McDaniel when he was in San Francisco. They like him. I think that's a trade that flew under the radar. Raheem Mostert and Wilson are a very good duo when they play. And Tyreek Hill obviously should be a frontrunner for MVP, but he's not because it's more a quarterback award, which I don't like anymore. But Tyreek Hill could possibly break the single season record for most receiving yards in a season and not win MVP. 4, we have the Chiefs staying put. Another win for the Chiefs. And their storyline is Juju taking that big hit. But, Kadarius Toney came out and said after the game that it felt like it rallied the players together and brought them closer to play for Juju. And it worked. They had a good showing since that moment. In the running game, Pacheco could possibly be taking over as the lead back for good. Clyde Edwards-Helaire didn't play pretty much. He had 2 targets and played only 4 snaps. And Mahomes obviously playing at an elite level, top tier quarterback, not 2, and he's top 2 and he's not 2. So this Chiefs team, expect them to keep on winning games and get a home playoff game or 2. 3, we have the Eagles falling from number 1 in a long time. Yes, they lost at home to the Commanders, and some people maybe still put them at 1 or 2, but I have them here at 3. I think they got exposed, the ground game, and I saw a stat, I think it was 149 rushing yards per game they've let up in the last 2 games. So we might have found the weakness for this Eagles team, and when Jonathan Taylor's coming, you're going to face Jonathan Taylor at his home turf. That's not a good sign. So this Eagles team, they need to clean up their turnovers. Jalen Hurts need to play a little better, and they could possibly walk away in Indy and get back in the right track. At 2, we have the Bills coming off a overtime loss. They are still moving up in my rankings. This is due in part to they still had 4 total turnovers, 3 on Josh Allen, 2 picks, and that fumble at the goal line, which gave the Vikings essentially a free touchdown. And they still had a shot to win this game in overtime. Just couldn't get it done. As long as Allen and Diggs have that combo going, and he can get Davis or Knox or McKenzie or someone else involved, this Bills team is going to be a top 5 team no matter what the result. And at 1, for the first time this year, we have the Minnesota Vikings obviously beating those Bills in Buffalo. And that means something. They're on a 7-game winning streak. And when you go to Buffalo, beat Buffalo, and come back as well, you got to put them at 1 here. I know it may be a little bit of an overreaction, and their schedule shows that maybe they aren't the best 8-1 team. They're not even favored this week against Cowboys at home. They're getting a point. But I don't think that matters. They're really going to keep proving people wrong. They have been ever since they lost to the Eagles and then got on that 7-game winning streak. And if Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, and Cousins, they keep playing how they're playing, and even if Cousins limits his turnovers in 2 picks, this Vikings team is going to be a scary team going down the stretch, as they pretty much almost have the NFC North on locks. And that's going to be it for the video today. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button to be entered into our giveaway. But until the next time, the Bench Buddies are out.